Hey there, it's Annette Pang, your family squabbles to hugs relationship coach. That's a mouthful, but I know that you are involved with squabbles, tiny little ones that everybody has because we're human. I promise you that I have the 5 proven ways to repair, heal, restore, and rejuvenate your relationships. And if you use this consistently for 7 days, and the operative word is consistently, I guarantee that you'll see a shift in the energy in the room, in eye contact, in body language, in the way that people might grunt or sigh. And this is the beginning steps towards bonding and rapport. You might not have a case of this at all, but you might know somebody who has this in their family. And the reason why I know is because my family has squabbles. So we want to change squabbles to hugs and not to hassles. And if you use these proven steps in the Family Harmony course, you will be able to get there and solve your situation in your kitchen, in your dining room, in the living room, in the boardrooms, in your condo association meetings, everywhere that you have families, work families, play families, charitable families, social families, church families, together, 2 or more people, there's bound to be some squabbles that occur. So how do you avoid it and how do you heal it? This is what we're going to do. So this is how this works. I will be off camera so that you'll just see my slides. The slides will go from maybe 25 minutes to 50 minutes max. In there, you'll find the 5 proven ways, along with other things that you might do to substantiate your journey towards making sure that you can have wonderful, rejuvenated relationships. Get pencil, paper, a pen ready so that you can jot down notes. When you jot down notes, you remember it. The brain gives a signal to your hand, the hand to the brain, and you remember it further. But if you don't want to take any notes, just listen to this once through, and then the tape is here for you all the time. So you can listen to it over and over again, and make sure you share it with others as well, because you will hear something different each time. And you'll say, aha, that is interesting. Maybe I should try that. Or maybe somebody else that I know should try that. So whatever it is, without further ado, let's go. And if you have any questions, just ping me. Just say, write to Annette, an ap@AnnettePang.com, and ask me a question, because I will be able to help you every step of the way. So are you ready? Let's go for it. Welcome again. Here are my slides for Squabbles to Hugs. I'm Annette Pang, and I have the 5 proven ways to repair, heal, and rejuvenate your relationships with your moms or anyone else in your families, so you feel confident, connected, and calm, even if you're frustrated over occasional misfires, meltdowns, or misunderstandings. So let's go to the second slide. My promise is to give you the 5 proven ways so that you can have a safe, fun, nurturing, and happy feelings in your relationships. In this mini training, Squabbles to Hugs, you squash difficult, stubborn, and stuck issues. If you use consistently for 7 days, I guarantee new attitudes, smiles, eye contact, conversations, and why not have fun with a whiff of fresh air. Now, for over 50, actually 55 years, I've heard your suffering, worrying, aching hearts, falling out, and not talking, which breaks my heart. You wanted to do something, but what? So I developed online courses using proven research and my hands-on experiences to build champions and goddesses like you so that you could change the culture in your relationships. And when my students, hundreds of students, learn to repair broken feelings, results go crazy nuts. And why listen to me? Well, I'm a licensed care home owner since 2001, where right now I have 2 people in my care homes who are 107 years old. We had Aunt Millie with us who lived to 107 years old, and she played balloon volleyball every day. So I know that people live a long time, have the potential to live a long time. And sometimes many people in their families are 70-year-olds or 80-year-old children. So the communication still goes on, even though you have an elderly parent. This is where, as a care home owner, I noticed a ton of interaction between people in a family. I'm also a licensed real estate agent since 1973. Do the math. It's 50 years, right? 51 years. And I'm still active, still have listings, still have sales. And I want to let you know that people who are dealing with multi-million dollars of their hard-earned money, their assets, selling, buying, there's bound to be squabbles. So many times I have to step in and I have to say to people, I know this is really tough right now for you, but let's use the business side of your brain so that we can get back on track and move towards the closing. And most people will listen and they will be able to handle a very, very sticky, rough patch in their transaction. I'm also a licensed teacher in California, Pennsylvania, and Hawaii. From 1970 to 1982, I taught at Hanaho'oli in Honolulu, and I'm a wife of 54 years to the same husband, a mother of 3 adult independent children, a grandmother to 7 grandchildren, a godmother to 3 godchildren, a speaker, published author, workshop leader, relationship coach, and the operative thing right here is perpetual life learner. I have to tell you that it was very, very difficult for me to do this online course. I usually teach one-to-one, face-to-face, one-to-many, live in groups where I do a workshop. However, I said I couldn't give up. There is somebody out there who is ready to hear how they might be able to repair, restore, reboot, rejuvenate their relationships, because somehow it's fractured. There's hurt there. And I felt that if I give up, somebody's going to miss out. And when they miss out, they might not be able to have some real, genuine, sincere relationships up to the time that they have to say goodbye. So that's why I'm here. And I'm glad you're here listening to me too. She did it, Michelle Sugihara of Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm going to tell you more about Michelle later, but she really turned around the prevailing vibration and culture in her family. And she is a success story with her mom, her aunts, her family. Still working on it because, of course, it never ends. Because now she has her daughter and her son, along with her parents. She's kind of known in the sandwich generation. But she did it. And I'm so proud of her. So who are you? You are many people together, men and women, who are trying so hard. But stuff happens in your relationships and it goes wonky. And it gets stuck. And that's what I'm here to help. I'll go over this list and maybe tell you one person in particular, 1 or 2 people and their success stories, but we'll go over that further on. Today's 3-part presentation is how squabbles threaten your relationships. And what I promised, the 5 ways to repair, heal, and rejuvenate them. And then the third part, the Bali secrets for adult daughters. And I'm so excited about that. And I want to be transparent with you. The Bali secrets is a course that's coming soon, and it is for adult independent daughters who just have issues with their moms and they're not able to solve it. I also have other courses, which you'll see later, but this one in particular warms my heart. So, part 1, how do squabbles threaten? If you feel tension in your family, chances are your conversations start out okay, but end up feeling hurt, bossed, and in tears. It's because you can't agree. You want the last word, or you can't see eye to eye. She might say to you, "You don't spend time with your children. You shouldn't feed them so late. Tell them to stop playing video games." You yell louder. You roll your eyes. But she's hopeless. You want to be reasonable, but she irks the heck out of you. She's hard-headed, and you have a legitimate beef. But you're kind of scared if you really want to know. Where do you start? Should you leave things unspoken and walk on eggshells? Or should you blab it out and complain till there's nothing left to say? What do you say when you want to fix things, repair things, patch things up? How do you say it? Will she hang up on me? So, what happens often? You flip-flop. You say, "Today, it's going to be different. I'll call her tonight." But that day goes by, and you get busy. And you say, "Well, I'm right, and she's dead wrong." But research shows in a study of 100 mother and daughter couples, 56.7% of adult daughters haven't spoken to their mothers for over a year, and that was not due to a pandemic. So what do? Do you wipe her off like a hard drive? Nope. Because you are stuck together like a stubborn coffee stain on crisp white pants. No matter how much you scrub, it won't come out. Because that's how you got your belly button. It is proof that you started your day 1 in life with your mother. How do I know? Because my family has squabbles too. It is not your fault. You're human with emotions, and the emotions can range from terrific, topsy-turvy, to total silence. And how do I know? Sadly, birthdays, Mother's and Father's Days, Christmas, no cards, no calls, no tender loving care. And you know who has all the cards that are sent out but never opened? The post office. So what happens when there's silence? You avoid get-togethers. And the rest of the family is in limbo. They're torn. Who do they go to? They begin to pick sides. Meanwhile, time is ticking, and she's getting older and foggier. And remember, this not only applies to mothers, it applies to fathers. It applies to brothers, sisters. It applies to husbands. So this is a way for you to have a system so that you can reverse the funnel and downward spiral and turn your squabbles into hugs. But what happens next? Nothing. Nada. Because if you do something, it's too confrontational, it's too scary, it's too vulnerable, it's too revealing, it's too much to ask, so it's safer to hide. Many of you say, "Let the chips fall where they may," which is a willingness to accept whatever consequences arise. Or you might say, "Let sleeping dogs lie," which means don't stir up a bad situation or make it worse. But even though you think you waved it off and you said good riddance, your body doesn't lie. Your mind races, your brain releases chemicals to your organs, you have aches and pains, and you can end up with ulcers, sore backs, grinding teeth, rash, and stress-related illnesses. Let me tell you, I know a coach, and he said he was so nervous about his daughter going to college. He wrapped himself up into a tizzy. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. He said his friend also went through this when they were trying to send their daughters off to college, and he said that he got a heart attack. He actually worked himself into a frenzy and got a heart attack. So, your body doesn't lie. Even though you have smiles, you don't want to be confrontational. Even though you might say, this doesn't bother me, you might be worried and have ruminations in the night. So our mission is to heal misunderstandings, ease tension and patch squabbles, so your relationships are filled with hugs, happiness, harmony, and why not have fun? So in Squabbles to Hugs, the journey starts within you. Number 1, you need to put yourself first. You ask yourself, why am I ruining my life? When you're walking on eggshells, you're avoiding and ditching, you're the one that's playing hide and go seek. That's not a full and best life. Number 2, you need to choose your best health, because you sabotage yourself when you worry so much and your organs misfunction. Number 3, aim for those happy places, those great feelings, because you want to be at peace. Number 4, be brave, resilient, and curious, because how do you bounce back? With kindness. If you don't know how to be resilient and bounce back from situations that come up that are so offensive, so rude, so hurtful, you get stuck and you wallow in it. So we're going to teach you how to be resilient. Here are 3 steps for best results so that you could repair, restore, mend, heal, and rejuvenate your relationships. Do you see the 3 circles? The first is the quality of words you use, what you talk, and what you write. The second is to have the self-control. This will ease your mind. No one else has ownership of your mind. The third is to have the empathy and compassion so that you walk in somebody else's shoes. And put it all together, you reach your happy place and you're genuinely happy. And the thing about this is, when you have this balance in your life with the 3-ring circus, all yours, so that you're confident, you stop second guessing yourself. All right, now let's begin the 5 ways to repair and heal, which is what I promised you. You don't want to be left behind, so take action so you can move forward with ease and confidence without looking back. So as I promised, the 3 circles here, the first circle will be the 5 proven ways. And I'm going to give you the quality words so that you get the best result. Because they say quality relationships hinge on the quality of words you use. So, who is the best change agent, I ask you? You can answer this at the end of this. So number 1, the first way is a blast from the past. It is in the concept of what is your foundation. And the foundation that I work off of is bonding and rapport. Bonding and rapport is the only way that you will have solid relationships, even if they go off track. So let's say you have a squabble, and it is really, really awkward, and you just don't know what to do. Well, instead of going along on this path of destruction, I want you to remember the first proven way of bonding rapport, and that is a blast from the past. You could use these words or use your own. And you could say something like, you know, I really remember the time when you took me to the beach. You took me almost every day during our spring break. And I just loved it. You brought bentos for us, juice and milk. You brought us dessert, our sand toys, our sunscreen, and piled in maybe 8 little kids in your car. And in those days, we didn't have seat belts. And we just would have so much fun. So, Mom, I will never forget that time with you. So do you see how you use bonding and rapport? You use, number one, a blast from the past. And you can use your own words. You might not say these words, but the concept is there for you to know where you're aiming for. Because if you just use something random that you pull out from the air, it will not be consistently quality words to get someone to pay attention to you. Number 2, you're good, rain or shine. What does that mean? Well, look at the concept. What is your birthright? You are special and worthy just because you're here on this earth. I know that we in our society weigh a lot on the things we accomplish, the things we amass, the money we have, the house we live in, the kinds of things that we can afford to do, the places we go. However, if we really look at our birthright, you were special the moment you took your first breath. People were rejoicing when you were born, and you did not have a job at that time. You did not have your job. You did not have your college degree. You did not have the money in the bank. Right now, my grandson is a junior, and he is going through, with his peers, college preparation. They have the SATs to practice for, they have their grade point averages, they're looking at all their sports to gain letters and trying to get letters of recommendation. It's like a really, really busy time for them. And a lot of times people might forget that, hey, college is not the only way to judge how special you are. So I want you to know the concept of you're good, rain or shine. And you might use it in a sentence this way, with quality words. You could say, you know, Mom, I can always count on you to be there for me, or to do this for me, like to come and help me last minute to babysit, or to pick up something that I forgot to pick up my dry cleaning, or to give me a really, really nice hot meal when I just have had no time to cook, or to help me go through my divorce, or to help me clean up my house because I wasn't ready for the party and everybody was coming at 5 o'clock, and by 3 o'clock I was having a meltdown. So whatever it is, I can't give you the experiences, I can't give you the words, but I can give you the concept so that you can tell someone, the person you're having a squabble with, that no matter what, they're good, rain or shine. Even though there was a bump in the way, even though there was a letdown, even though there was a big mistake. So number 3, I miss you. The concept is, who suffers when you're out of touch? when people are silent. I know right now there are many, many families who are estranged. It is so hurtful. It happens in my family. It happens with people that were really loving, and all of a sudden there was a huge, huge incident that occurred that didn't get solved, that sent people into the hinterlands where they're just silent and they're not speaking to each other, or they're walking on eggshells, or they're sweeping things under the rug and zipping their lips. So one of the ways to start the ball rolling towards bonding and rapport is to say, I miss you. 3 powerful ways. And not to go on blabbing, blah, 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 because you did this and I did that and blah, blah, blah. Just a simple, I miss you. And something where you could say, it's been too long. You usually come up with great ideas, and I really miss having you. Just being there, being around. I don't know how you feel about me, but I just want to tell you I miss you. You don't have to say this. You could write it in a card so that people can read it again. You can put it on a magnet to put it on the refrigerator. There's even this little thing that they sell at the drugstore where you squeeze your hand and you make sure, and it's in the shape of a heart or a star. And every time you squeeze your hand, there's a little thing that says, I love you. I give you a hug. So there's lots of ways to tell this message. And if you use it systematically, strategically, and sincerely, it has a lot of power. Number 4, I'm all yours. The concept is, what is your greatest need? The greatest need for anybody, I would say, is you want to feel heard and understood. There's a lot of people who get a divorce, have severed relationships, and it's not because the sex ran out, or because money ran out, or because they just stopped feeling romantic. One of the biggest reasons is that they felt they weren't being heard or understood any longer. They felt like a 10-ton truck ran right over their bodies, and they just felt diminished. So, I'm all yours is a phrase that I learned from my dear niece, Marissa. I was visiting her when she was a co-ed in college, and my husband and I brought all these goodies from Honolulu, and that included, like mochi crunch, poi, lau lau. It included lots of goodies that maybe you can't get in San Francisco, but maybe you can right now. And I remember arriving there Tuesday, and I had to leave Friday, so we called her Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I said, Marissa, are we going to see you because I'm leaving soon? No word. And then Thursday night, she called, and she says, oh, I'm so sorry I've been out of touch. I've been so busy, but right now, I'm all yours. And that melted our hearts. We really felt so good. We felt heard. We felt understood. And I think that that's what people need to hear. And if you use that simple phrase, I'm all yours, it can melt mountains, hard rock mountains, and it can create wonderful warmth again. So you might use these quality words. I think I'm getting the hang of what you've been saying all these years, because you've been saying that I should maybe clean out my closet so that I am able to find something quickly if I need to retrieve it in 5 minutes. This is what happened to me last week. I needed to find this certain paper in my files. I didn't know where it was. And I needed to show this to my doctor in order to get the insurance claim. And I dug around for it. It took me 3 hours and I finally found it. And now I remember what you told me. And I am going to follow what you've been saying, because now I'm all ears, and actually I'm all yours now. Now, you might not use that exact wording, because if you don't use that kind of wording, this is my wording, it might feel really awkward and strange. However, if you know the concept that somebody out there wants to feel heard and understood, how are you going to get to that end goal? Well, reverse engineer and think of certain ways that might be music to their ears. As Marissa said to us, I'm all yours. That worked wonders. You might have something completely different, but the concept is that you always want to make that other person feel that they're heard and they're understood. Cool? Number 5, never guess and never tell. The concept is, why ask questions? It's because you want to know what you don't know. Now, there was a Super Bowl commercial 2 years ago, and in it, the guy kept saying, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be doing this tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be eating that tonight. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to afford this house. When you're pretty sure, you're guessing. That's called WAG-ing, wild ass guessing. And when you don't ask questions, you are in fairy tale land. You're not able to pinpoint exactly where the horse is coming from, and you need to hear it from the horse's mouth. So I have, in the 5th proven way to repair, heal, restore, and rejuvenate relationships, that you never guess. You never tell somebody or scold them. You always ask. And why ask questions? Because you want to know what you don't know. We go that into in depth in the Bali Secrets, where we have a really very, very big study of the Johari window, where you tell somebody something they don't know, but you know. Or you don't know something that they know. Or you both don't know something, or you both know something. Now that is a quadrant of 4 spaces in the Johari window, and this is something where you can actually pinpoint, rejuvenate, and rebuild a relationship when you begin to ask for clarity. So this is how it might sound if you want to use quality words. You say, I'm wondering, where do you think this ran off track? You might be guessing that you think you had a meltdown or a squabble because you forgot to pick up something in time and deliver it to her. You think that, but you really don't know until you ask. And you will see in the next session, while I go into self-control, you'll see how this is extremely important for you to rejuvenate your relationships. Because when you ask, you can get very concrete. And you don't ask in a way that scolds somebody, like, you really aren't listening, are you? Or, when you don't tell us what you're thinking about, How can we guess? No, that's not the way to ask. That's scolding. That's called the trap question, the trick question. You want a pure question. The pure question is to really find out what's in that person's heart and what's in that person's mind. And I'm excited to let you know that next part that's coming up. So, now you know the 5 proven ways to rejuvenate, repair, restore your relationships. Wait a few days. Use them. And I want you to notice any responses. You might be surprised to see how these words could shift the energy in the room, in your mom, and within yourself. You both might end up seeing things differently. So I wish you a lot of luck. Family harmony is like an umbrella, and it encompasses many, many different pieces where it fits into many facets of how relationships work together. You'll see more in a few slides coming up. I want to point out that the Family Harmony logo I have here is like yin and yang. It's usually black and white, but I love these colors. And in family yin yang, there's good and there's bad to each section. No one is totally all good and no one is totally all bad. They're or all dark or all light or all ups and downs in you and in others. There's a little speck of each part in every one of you. And as Charlie Brown says, life is full of ups and downs, mostly downs. So is there really perfection? No, we're walking around a little wounded because we have a little good and a little bad in us. We have some dark and light days. We have a ton of ups and downs, correct? So are we really perfect? No way. Show me a perfect human being. As my dear friend Susan says, let's put the fun back in dysfunctional. I love that. She gave me a card once and I will never forget it, because put the fun back in dysfunctional, which is in the word dysfunctional, right? So we want to make sure that you boost yourself with a new outlook, a new attitude, a new mind and body chemistry, because our systems combine modern and ancient ideas and the latest scientific research. Part 3. This is what I'm so excited about. It's the Bali Secrets. And it is a course that I am going to be offering, and it's coming up soon, for adult daughters who want to rejuvenate mom relationships without put-downs, one-upmanship, competition, and blaming. They want to have fun and trust and safety, hope and support for each other through life's continuous challenges. So the 3 steps for best results, again, are the quality words, which was just what we went over. I gave you 5 examples, but there are umpteen million examples. But I just gave you 5 proven ways. Now let's go to the self-control section, where you ease your mind. And then the empathy compassion section, we don't have time for right now in this presentation, but it is also walking in her shoes. When you combine all 3, you get the best results. So self-control means easing your mind. And here's an example of how modern scientific research has sorted out the way that our minds, our bodies, and our conversations might be interacting when we talk to each other. Here's the mindset between adult daughters and their moms. Look at the bottom. Do you know that you have 3 conversations going on at the same time? This was done recently by the Harvard Negotiation Project. And I studied through the coach, Dr. Sheila Heen. And she and her colleagues two other colleagues came up with this concept after doing a lot of research. They said that when a person has one conversation through their mouth, and you see that yellow arrow between the mother and daughter, the conversation might be, "Why are you dating him? He's so rude." So that's what the daughter hears, and that's what the mother says. But according to the Harvard Negotiation Project, there are two other conversations that are going on when you have the one. So there's a total of three. So in their hearts, the mother might feel hurt. And she might say, "Gee, I feel hurt. She's dating somebody that I don't like." And the daughter might say, "I feel guilty. I hate to bring him home because I know that mom thinks he's rude." So that conversation goes on besides the one that they just said. Mom doesn't say to her, "I feel guilty." No way. She holds that in her heart. The mom doesn't say, "I feel hurt." And the daughter doesn't say, "I feel guilty." They hold that in their hearts. They never let on that that's what they're feeling. In addition to that, there's a worthiness conversation that goes on. And the mom might say, "She scolds me. I'm really useless. I feel like a fifth wheel now because here's my daughter going off on her merry way, making her own decisions, and she scolds me. And she doesn't give me credit. And I raised her all these years. But she doesn't need me anymore. I'm useless." And that's what's happening in mom's conversation. The daughter might say in her third conversation, "She disrespects me. I'm like 30 years old. I can make up my own mind. I'm working in my own job. I have my own car, my own apartment, but she's disrespecting me when she's treating me like a 14-year-old. Should I rock the boat? Or should I just say, 'Yes, Mom, but don't call her'?" Do you see how we really aren't connecting when we just think we're having a conversation? The conversation of "Why are you dating him? He's so rude," only skims the surface. And in the Bali Secrets, I call it the beach day sandcastle conversation, where you build a sandcastle on the sand and the water washes it out. It has no stick-to-itiveness. Whereas you have a scuba dive conversation and it's deeper. And when you have a scuba dive conversation and you have a scuba partner to rely on to check your air, your decompression levels, to check the way that you might be going down deep for a dive, you now rely on each other to make sure that you're walking in each other's shoes and swimming in each other's wavelength. It is now an interactive relationship. So now, if you're going to be talking to each other, you don't have a surface conversation anymore. The daughter might say, "Mom, I'm so sorry I'm dating him. Actually, I feel guilty because I'm actually opposing you. And the last thing I want you to know is that I'm rebelling against you because I really value you in my life, and I don't ever want you to feel like an outsider. I'm not scolding you, Mom, and I'm not disrespecting you, but I really want to date this guy, and I'm hoping someday you can be friends with him." So do you see how that works? And vice versa, the mom might have a conversation with her that relates to the mom, to the daughter's feelings and to the ways that she might be feeling in her mind and her self-worth. So that's how these conversations can lead to rejuvenating relationships so that you don't get stuck. In the Bali Secrets for Adult Daughters, I want to give you a preview in case you want to work with me. There are 3 sections. We go into the fallout, where we talk about the problems. We talk about the process to begin solving misfires, meltdowns. And then we go into the promises, where we begin to celebrate. So here are the modules. We have 9 modules with a bonus of 10. And if you join me, even if you're not a daughter, even if you're not a mother, but if you join me and see how these principles can apply to upgrade, uplift, and really up-level your relationships, you can be confident. So I have an introduction, and we talk about the Bali Secrets and how you become a peacemaker. This first part in the problems, we go into awkward reactions. We go into the knee-jerk reactions and how the seesaw effect and the 5 reactions that you might have and the triggers and insults you might have. And then we go into the wrong words that get the wrong results. Because these words can either raise the tension or they can soften with tenderness. The third part in our Bali Secrets for Problems is the emotional roller coaster. And when you're able to calm the flip-flop, you release the ruminations that you have in your mind, you go into the 3 conversations in depth, and you can change your inner critic to the outer creator. In the first section for solutions, we go into ask presetting and the NAP process. And this is where you learn how to have deliberate dialogue so that you don't insult and you don't trigger somebody with an awkward reaction. You know how to work in the framework that has fabulous rejuvenated conversations. You also learn tech hacks that can really have instantaneous connections. Is that possible? Yes, it is. In Module 5, you learn the Minesweeper. Now, Minesweeper is like you're giving yourself a big shampoo. You're like going through a car wash and you're getting your whole body cleansed because you can really calm your inner conflict. We do the brain dump. You visualize scenes and you ask the 3 most important questions, which we go over to in the Family Stew Pot. Another training that I have in the Family Harmony, which is also complimentary. I'll explain it to you later. In Module 6, we go into the Truth Teller. And remember I talked to you about the Johari window, where you tell each other something that you don't know, or you learn something that you don't know, because when you tell the truth, this is your hidden power, and it sets you free. You learn how to be a complainer, but first, you use a Losada ratio so that you can be a complimenter before you're a complainer, and this is so fabulous. It is a system that works all the time. Now, the part 3 is when we get into promises. We're going to go into them opportunities that are reimagined, because the happiness begins with you. It does not begin with somebody out there that you're trying to force into a round hole when they're a square peg. You can't force anybody. You help yourself first, because when you do, the rising tide lifts all boats, and more heads are better than one. Beauty is in the imperfection, and we go through that in this module. The ancient shoguns in Japan used kintsugi. Kintsugi is the imperfect tea bowl that is made perfect and more beautiful when it is repaired. But these are concepts that we go over that we just don't have time for now. But if you look at the Bali Secrets, my gosh, this can be life-changing. Now, in Module 8, we go into the magnificent mother lode. Do you see these two daughters with their mother? They might be having a little squabble right here. However, if they learn the principles of no judgment zone, Mama, can you hear me, and the peacemaker's love letters, they can turn it into hugs, harmony, and happiness. Believe me, it works every time. I usually have, and I'll tell you that later, I usually have people write love letters because love letters can be savored word for word, but it can't be sugary sweet. No, these letters are very, very special, and you get to learn them. In Module 9, you begin to use these epic conversations that you've learned about, and the epic conversations will help you say a little more, because together, rain or shine, you can make a relationship absolutely fabulous. Your bases are loaded. You can make home runs together, and you can learn the bonding and rapport through the WEEP program. And this is a collaborative awareness program that has been tested in 150 different countries. I can't wait to share that with you. In the last part in our Bali Secrets, we have a Kick-Asker reboot camp. And in it, you join others where your freedom and liberation and collaboration and intimacy soar. You gather your minds and your bodies and your hearts and souls together, and you have that loving feeling, and you learn how to ask questions and not keep them in your mind and in your throat and in your heart. You actually articulate them, and you're not shy. But we know that each of you have your own time clock. You have your own wavelength. And we know that what lies behind you, what lies before you, are tiny matters compared to what lies within you. To paraphrase Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he was a transcendental transformational coach, and he definitely saw that people need to change within themselves first. So meet our goddess warriors. They turn squabbles to hugs that money can't buy. And in one case, when somebody talked to her son, she was walking on cloud 9. And when she went back to her friends, she traveled back to another state to see her friends. They said to her, "Agnes, did you get a facelift? You're glowing." And she was beaming from ear to ear because she was able to finally speak up, find her voice, and speak with so much kindness, gratitude, and acknowledgement, and yet stand up for herself. Now let me tell you about Sharon and her mom, the first one at the top of the list. She just had 1.5 sessions with me. And we actually sat in front of Safeway on some tables. And I told her the system because she said to me, "Annette, my mom severed ties with me and my siblings My sister knows a lot more about my mom and where she is, but actually my mom just left us. And we haven't seen her for years. And I'm just getting the feeling like I want to reconnect with her. I miss her. And there's a lot of things that happened between us. And I don't know how to start. And I said, do you want to know? And she said, yes. And I said, well, you need to follow this step by step. Because there's a system. And you can't be loosey-goosey, flippy-floppy. You need to follow this system if you want to have results. So she said, okay, give it to me. So I said, we're going to learn how to write some peacemaker love letters. She said, really? And I said, yes. And I told her the elements of the letter. I told her how she has to address different points in it. And I gave you a lot of it in the 5 Proven Ways. So go back and listen to it, because you will see that many of the ways that I told you about in the 5 Proven Ways to restore, rejuvenate, reboot, and repair the relationships are in those 5 Proven Ways. So I said to her, in your letter, I want you to start with bonding and rapport and go through point by point by point and write that letter to your mom. Get your mom's address from your sister, mail it off. She mailed it off. Nothing happened. She wrote a second letter. Nothing happened. She wrote a third letter, and each letter was a little different, but it was building on the foundation for reconnection, for revival, for NAP, which is notice, ask, and practice, for ask presetting. And when she was able to do that, and she used the 3 conversations that the Harvard Negotiation Project teaches right now, a month later, her mom wrote back. And she said, Sharon, come up and see me. And Sharon didn't even know where she lived, but she said, where are you? And she says, I live here, and I want to see you. I can't tell you. Sharon, true story, Sharon took her vacation leave to visit her mom, far in another state on the West Coast. And they built on the bonding and rapport that she wrote about, and she was able to make several visits to see her mom for 1.5 years. And every time she did, she was giddy. She was lighter than air. She walked on cloud 9. She was so excited. And they danced. They danced. They hugged. They sang. Now, this might seem like a movie, but this is real life. This is a person who is walking, warm-blooded, and so thrilled that she made a reconnection. And she said to me later, and she came to my seminars afterwards, but she said to me later, Annette, my siblings never got to this point with my mom. Only I was able to reconnect. And 1.5 years later, after all these wonderful visits, my mom died. And I was able to have the memories of a lifetime that no one can ever take away from me. Because she gave me life, I gave her life, and she died in peace with me. And I feel so much release and relief. And I dance every Saturday when I clean my house and I think about my mom. So that's one of the hundreds of stories of people who are actually going through things. And it's wonky. Families are messy, right? Things happen and it never stays in a vacuum. We can never rest on laurels. Stuff happens. We age. Our relationships change. The dynamics and the equilibrium changes. And so it never stops. But if you give up, if you stop, if you say, waste time, no way, too stubborn, nothing will happen. Because the other end might get foggy, might get more forgetful, might get more grouchy. So is it worth fighting for your family? Yes, it is. But you might still be deciding, should you mend factions or should you sit on the fence? Both decisions are your journey right now. One is faster, one is slower, but none of this is wrong. So however you feel, I want to stir your curiosity. I want to stir your interest because tell you it is possible. Is it worth fighting for your family? Number 2, you really want to give up so many times. However, I'm asking you to slowly shift your point of view. Take a leap and go 3 steps backward, but jump forward and say, who thinks it is impossible? Does somebody think that it's impossible, or is it possible? Because I know many, many, many times you wonder, why change anything? It's easier to hide. Number 3, is it worth fighting for your family? Yes. But some of you have a lot of history. And if you can't give hugs to your mom, just know that hugs don't have to be physical. Your smile, eyes, gestures, tone of voice, and words are a powerful combination. It's more than a 15-second hug. Even a hug through a letter, the kind of letters that we write, are amazing hugs. And people hold them close to their hearts forever. Is it worth fighting for your family? Number 4, yes. If you feel pain, regret, and suffering, that means you desire clarity and a new approach on your own. I want you to explore your childhood, your inner critic, and how it impacts you today. I don't go that deep. My course is surface because it is the architecture to build upwards. If you desire something, you set your goal, I can help you get there very quickly, like Sharon at Safeway. However, if you really feel that you have a lot of stuff from your childhood, that you've been really, really abusive or abused, and you know that it's dragging you down today, I ask you to go for independent work with more coaches or maybe even therapy. I can't offer it, but I can offer you excellent resources. I know somebody who just works with the forgiveness. Number 5, is it worth fighting for your family or fighting against your family? Number 5, you can't give up. I don't want you to give up because remember, sterling silver tarnishes, darkens, and stops glowing. But you need to apply polish to it. You can't assume your family will be there to support you always. You must constantly work on them. Keep polishing it. And you can't rest on laurels. So is it worth fighting for your family? Yes, because your family is your lifeline, your root system, and your heredity. You think, I didn't choose this bunch of clowns. Yet, some people believe, after they've rejuvenated, that they were meant to be born in this family because they grew to a new personal level of transformation. And that's really amazing when that happens. And I want to see each of you get there because I got there myself. Is it worth fighting for your family or against your family? Yes, because besides polishing all the silverware and others, I want you to polish your own halo. Remember, you are and always will be a special person, regardless of your roles, your accomplishments, your finances, or your flub-ups. Mistakes happen, you're imperfect. Kintsugi, which means repairing beautiful porcelain bowls with golden threads. All of that is worthy. I give people in my seminars crumpled dollar bills, and I say, what is the value of this crumpled dollar? And everybody says, it's still $1. And I said, that's right. You are still you, no matter what you've been through. No matter how much you suffered, how hurt you feel, how blamed you were, how jealous you are, no matter how you are and your disposition, you can change it into magnificence. And I want to be here to lead you. You just scratched the surface with the Squabbles to Hugs complimentary training today. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed this tremendously. And even though I felt squeamish about giving this to you, I really feel like I might help one person out there. And if I help one person, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, maybe 6, maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe 10,000, maybe 100,000. Maybe we can reverse squabbles to make it to hugs and happiness and harmony without sacrificing who you are and losing your voice. Does that sound cool? Because your learning never stops. And what I offer you as a Squabbles to Hugs relationship coach is to give you complimentary as well as paid courses. And the second thing that I give you is to calm your inner critic. And also tell you that there's gifts that keep on giving, that you don't buy from a store, that don't cost a penny, but they keep on giving. And if you click onto that, which is another complimentary course, you will learn how you can give gifts that have a shelf life that lasts longer, that don't have to be traded in at a swap meet or a garage sale or clutter in a closet or re-gifted or exchanged. The gifts that keep on giving are priceless, and I can hardly wait to tell you about that. My next training is your family pot of stew. All of this is going to be online, and you just click. Your family pot of stew is so cool. It is about the mommy who's cooking her wonderful food, and everybody just loves it. Her 7-layer salad, her pot roast with mashed potatoes and gravy, her fudge ganache brownies, her creamy corn chowder, and everybody loves it. But then all of a sudden one day they start saying, Mom, is this from an organic store? Is this non-gluten? Can you think of cooking with a little keto? Do you think that you might be able to grow some vegetables in your garden? And you go, huh? What? They liked my food all this time, and now they're pushing back? What's happening here? And remember her third conversation? She's going to feel like, they don't like me anymore. Maybe they don't love me anymore. I feel left out. All I want is to see them every Sunday. All I want is to be able to talk to them and find out what's up. But their life is so full of challenges and it's so fast. I don't get it. I feel like I'm behind. Anyway, I'm just getting off track, but I just wanted to let you know that that's in my family pot of stew. The Bali Secrets is an upcoming course that I explained to you with 9 modules, and I hope to see you in my course. Harness Your Stress is another very short little course, but excellent because it tells you ways that you might be able to have instantaneous relief. Not long-term relief, but instantaneous relief where you can change your mindset immediately. And that is going to be in the Harness Your Stress course because I want you to make friends with your stress. In the Letters to Apologize, that's another complimentary course because that is the best tonic for good health. Because when you hold a gripe, when you hold some kind of grievance, some kind of matter that just makes you stay up at night, what we call ruminate at night, and you just keep thinking of this over and over again, you fit the statistic by the Cleveland Clinic that says we have about 70 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Each human has that, and this is scientific research. And about 60% of those thoughts are negative. So what happens if you don't release it? If you don't go through your car wash? If you don't have your shampoo? If you don't have the truth teller? If you don't have the emotional roller coaster and get off of it? If you don't know how to heal all those wounds and stop those triggers and speak up? You hold that in your body, and like God made little green apples, it shows up in dysfunction, in dis-ease, in organs. And all of a sudden you have stress-related illnesses. So Letters to Apologize is one of the best tonics for your good health. So what happens? Holding your grudges and not saying final goodbyes. And the reason why I am so resolute on doing this, and I'm not going to give up, is because as a care home owner for going on 23 years now, with hundreds and thousands of family members who've come through, because one person might have 30 people in the family, right? And through the course of these many years, I've had many, many people in our care homes and other homes as well, because I have 2 care homes. I know that there's one wish that 99.7% of elders have on their final deathbed. Can you guess what that might be? There's only one thing they wish for, and it's not another sweater. It's not another meal. It's not a chocolate ice cream. It's not even a massage. There's only one wish on their final deathbed that they want. And here it is. They want family peace. Family peace. I had one person who came to my workshop in her wheelchair with her caregiver, and she was 106 years old. And she sat there in front of everybody and said, I am here because, Annette, you don't know what I'm going through. Because she did not have family peace, or she did not perceive that she had family peace. Other members in her family might have felt the peace, but she did not. And she died without a reconciliation. And she tried her best. But at 106, she really had a mind that kind of slipped in and out. So I advocate that people start early, like now. Like you 45-year-old adult independent daughters, like 70-year-olds like me, like 80-year-olds. But when you get to 100 years old, 99 to 100 to 105, 106, it could be too late. So I have a dream, and I hope you're with me on this dream, because imagine you could be calm even with flare-ups, misunderstandings, and misfires. You can quell emotions. You can tame your tongue. You can find your voice and talk freely with happy feelings. It is totally possible. I want you to stand up, because this is your time, and I can't wait to be together with you again. So I have a link below so that you can join me for the Bali Secrets. If you click the link below, and for the first 50 people who join, you're invited to get 50% off. In the Bali Secrets course, which is online, so you don't have to reveal yourself, you could listen from your armchair. You receive 30 years of my coaching experience in this digitized course, along with all the latest research that Johns Hopkins has done, Harvard University, Georgetown University, Clemson University, all these places that are doing really heavy-duty relationship research. So I wish you hugs, happiness, and harmony. Your Squabbles to Hugs coach. Thanks for joining me. Take care.